Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Emelie, and in today's video I will be playing with Paper Splatter's watercolors, and I will share two different techniques that I like to use these for. Beyond the splattering that I also will do, it's actually three techniques if you count that one. But I will start off by stamping the beautiful stamp called A Peony of Contrast, and it's one of the newer from Picket, and you can see how large this image is. It's just gorgeous, and I am using a piece of watercolor paper. You can use whatever you have in your stash, and I'm also using Picket black ink, and they are a tool to help me press down on top of the watercolor paper. It's a little bit textured, this paper, so I had to stamp it a couple of times to get a good impression. Then I took the Paper Splatter's watercolor liquid pink blossoms, and I'm using the pipette, I think you can call it, just to lift the colors from the bottle, and then squeezing it out on top of a plastic surface. This was just some recycling plastic that I had in my stash, and then I picked a brush that I also had in my stash, and then I went over my image, and you can see how easy this is. Then I'm just picking up some water on the side there, and then just going from the lower part of my paddle up, and as always, I'm no watercoloring expert at all. I just like to get some ink down here and just cover this beautiful large image. I think images like this is perfect to practice your watercoloring technique on. It actually was quite a long time since I watercolored last time, so every time I'm picking it up I am a little bit like taking it up for the first time again and just trying to figure out what my style is with watercoloring. And I'm just like going over the image a couple of times. You can see all of the lines in this image. They are really helpful for knowing where the darker parts are supposed to be. So I'm just sort of following them and covering that part with some more ink. And after letting that dry, you can see how beautiful and a lot of contrast you can get with just one color of ink. I think that is just amazing, and one of my favorite features with watercolors is that you can really use one shade and get a long way. I'll let it completely dry, and then I'm gonna do some gold splatters here on top of my image. I'm just picking up the color with a brush, and I don't think it is, but I don't have a coordinating die for this stamp, so I'm just using a scissor here. And actually I will switch scissors because I didn't like how that felt in my hand. And you can see that this image is supposed to go off the edge, so I'm just cutting this around, and I will actually end up trimming it off a little bit more later on in this video. But you can see that when I had done all of this, I decided to switch my scissors because I didn't like how they felt, so I took another one. And it also depends on which cardstock I'm using, which scissors I like to use. This was a really thick cardstock, so I decided to go with another scissor so I could get a good or better cut into the paper. And you can see I'm rotating the paper and not so much the scissor, and that is also helpful when you are fussy cutting images like this. So here it is, and I hope the camera is picking up how much shine this has and glitter in it. It's just very beautiful. And then I decided that I needed a matching paper, so this is my third technique for this video, and that is to create your own shimmery specialty cardstock. So I'm just taking a piece of watercolor paper, and then I took some more of that Paper Splatter's liquid pink blossom, and you can see I'm going back and forward a ton of times until I have covered this so many times that it is completely pink and all of my stripes are gone. So you can see I'm just going back and forward until the paper has sucked up enough of that pink colored water and starts to smooth out. You can see here on screen how it starts to come together. And yeah, it's just beautiful. And I didn't attach this to anything, and it dried pretty flat. You can see I haven't done anything to it besides letting it dry. You can see the glitter is sort of a bit striky here on camera, but you can see how much shimmer and glitter that is. And in real life, I can't see the stripes. I have to tell you, I can't see the stripes, but on camera here I really can. And then I'm going to use the Beyond Basics A2 rectangle and cover plate dies. And I cut the hexagons out of some white paper, and I left some of them inside just to have a little bit more of a white space. And I had my stem here on my flower. I just quickly, since it's such a small part of the image, I just quickly covered it with some green. And then I took some adhesive to the back, and you can see some of my hexagon is falling out, but it's okay, you can pop them right in if you like. And when I was happy with how this look on top of my background, I will actually go in and use a pen just to draw in where the line weren't attached in the image. Since this is a really large image, it's meant to go off the edges, but I wanted my stamp to go off the edges in other places. So I hope that makes sense why I'm just marking it in. And for the sentiment, I heat embossed a white sentiment on top of black paper from the Graceful Magnolias stamp set. Is also a newer one, and since my paper was a little bit bigger than a standard A2 card size, I had to create my own card base, and this is my favorite way of doing it. I'm just looking at my panels there and seeing how large it is and how large I want my image to be, and then I'm just cutting it to size. So that is my way of going. And then I will cut off the exit of my flower here, just having it hang off to one of the sides, and then I will raise everything up and then attach it down to my card base here. So, and this is also something I like to do when I have been using a liquid medium. I like to take one of Picket Fence double-sided foam adhesive like plates or whatever you're gonna call it, and it's just straightening everything down. It's just amazing. So I'm using that one, and you can see how beautiful that turned out, and we have our sentiment on top, and that pretty much finished off our card. I hope you can see all of the shine from the paper splatters. I am in love with this technique, and I will be using it a ton more in the future. I hope this video inspired you in some ways. If it did, please leave me a comment down below and tell me which techniques you have tried in the past using paper splatters. It would be really fun to hear what you have to say. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you soon. Bye!